roadies? Well, it is a frozen tundra around here. We do have electricity and we do have heat, so that's a good thing. Although the world is very, very quiet, which I also think is fabulous. I think there's been a total of 3 vehicles that have gone past my house, and it's on a fairly well-traveled road. And one was a tow truck, another was a pickup truck, and then there was a car. Otherwise, everything is quiet, and it would normally be garbage day, no garbage truck, no school buses. Pretty much everyone is hunkered down. It actually is 32 degrees, so that's fairly warm. It's been in the low numbers this week, and but we've been lucky. We only were without Wi-Fi for a little over 48 hours, and that, I mean, I couldn't upload videos in the timely manner I wanted to, but sometimes you're given a gift of silence. Isn't that true? And I've tried to pay attention to that. I know in the morning when we have coffee, which is a blessing, I always light candles, 2 or 3 different candles in the kitchen and the living room where we have coffee, because I want to set the ambiance of the day, if that makes sense. There's things that I do to move me through my life in a more quiet way, comfortable way, loving way, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So it's rituals. I have some rituals that I do to start my day and to end my day, which is very, very nice. I just came back from Sampler Symposium, which it was a big cross-stitch sampler-focused workshop with 4 different I don't know if instructors or presenters, and it was absolutely fantastic. The thing about cross-stitch versus quilting is the cross-stitch world has always seemed to be, in my mind, connected in a very, like you feel like you know on a personal level other cross-stitchers across the United States. But quilters don't necessarily have that same connection. Like in the cross-stitch world, it's called floss tube. Those are all the YouTube channels that thousands of cross-stitchers are making on YouTube. But they're all tied together by the term floss tube. Quilters, there's no quilt tube that I know of, and I've kind of been in the industry for quite a while. I know quilters that make YouTube videos, but it's not the same connective community that I see in cross-stitch. Now, there are cross-stitchers who are quilters. That is a fact. And they do, whereas I do 2 separate channels. I do a Stitch Roadie channel and a Quilt Roadie channel. I kind of wish I had done them together. But the reason I'm telling you this is because there are cross-stitchers in the floss tube community who are also quilters that you might want to take a look at, and you might have missed them because you aren't a cross-stitcher, but they are sharing quilting on their channel. And some of them that I follow, it's, you know, you could, I mean, like Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, when she does her cross stitch, she always says, I'm going to now do quilting. And so if you're not interested, we'll say so long at this point. But I find that even watching those channels that are not in an art form that I'm necessarily participating in, it's still a company. It's still company. And so I just wanted to share a few with you, like Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. She also does long arm quilting and cross stitch, and we both love Civil War fabrics. One of my close friends, stitching with the Sisterlies, Cheryl and Colleen, they also are quilters, and they have Etsy. I think they have Etsy shops. I have bought wall hanging from Colleen. So these, you know, I'll put them in the drop down box because you might be interested in the quilting portion of these channels, you know. And the Pink Stitchers, oh my gosh, they are in the neck of the woods that I absolutely love. So they're cross stitchers, but they're quilters and wool stitchers, and their home quilt shop is Primitive Gatherings. I mean, yeah, I hang on every word that the Pink Stitchers are talking. My dream is to one day be able to go and have a room at the Primitive Gatherings retreat house, and just, oh, it would be so lovely, because I do have so many Primitive Gathering projects because I love them. Well, Lori from Textstylust is from my former hometown, Sisters, Oregon, and she also is a cross-stitcher and a quilter, and I have actually been in her stitchy home, and she has bolts of French General. I'm not giving her address out because, you know, I don't want you banging on her door asking for just 1 yard of this vintage French General. No, yeah. So I want you to, even though it seems like they're cross stitchers, you really must watch those channels because they do quilting, and it's so fun to see all of the places they go, both cross stitch and quilting. Yeah, we need good entertainment. There's not a whole lot on television. So I started, when I got back, I thought, what am I going to dive into first? And I actually, it started out, how I ended up with this project on my sewing machine was I was looking for something under the eave of my my sewing room here. The ceiling is pitched, and so there's a space underneath that is more like storage. You couldn't stand up in it, and I kept hearing this noise, and I wanted G to go look at what was in there, if it was a raccoon or something, but he would have had to have a death wish to be up this high. So I pulled everything out of there, and unfortunately we do have a little bit of a roof leak, which we'll have to take care of once everything is, it doesn't leak into, it's only leaking into empty space, not into any rooms in the house. So we'll have to, once this weather system is gone and we can get someone out here to take a look at what needs to be done, we'll do that. But that long story means that I stumbled upon a pile of quilt tops that I hadn't quilted. And I don't want to be known as a topper. I like topping, which means that If you're new to quilting, it means that you just like to make the tops and that they pile up. But I had a nice little stack of tops. And in that, when I was moving things around in here, I found the top to this. I am so in love with this. And this was from the Fat Quarter Shop art journal. This is J. Recker Frisch, which is one of my favorite fabric designers, with Riley Blake, and it's called Songbird Serenade, and it's a panel. And so this last few days with the weather like it's been, I've been filling my bird feeder like I'm running a fast food restaurant here. I can't tell you, I must have hundreds of birds in my yard. They're so hungry. It's cold. I discovered this beautiful, beautiful bird. 2 or 3 of them were, and they're called they're a large thrush, and they have this gorgeous orange and black blue feathers, and they are stunning. And then the blue jays, and then all the variety of sparrows and finches. It was unbelievable. So I felt this great need to quilt this so that I can have it hanging in my front entry. And when you come in my front door, I have a church pew that I've been hauling around for a dozen moves. Let's see, exactly how many moves have I moved that? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 moves. I've been hauling that church pew around 8 moves. And above it is a quilt rack. And so I usually change that wall hanging out seasonally. So I change it out for, like, I hang a Halloween or a Christmas or whatever. And with all the birds in my yard, I just thought this particular one would be so perfect to hang there in the spring. So I decided I'm working hard to get it done. And what I've decided, I'm not 100% sure, but what I've done so far is I am tacking down all the squares. You know, I'm just doing a running stitch around everything. And then I'm going to drop the feed dogs, and I'm going to try to trace around the birds to make them pop a little bit. And I could kick myself, because if I'd really thought this through, I would have trapuntoed the birds. And if you don't know what trapunto is, it's where you put batting, extra batting under a motif so that when you sew around it, it puffs up. But I didn't think about it before I had half of the squares tacked down, and I'm not willing to rip it out. But if you haven't done this and you're going to, that is a very interesting idea, if I do say so myself. So what I intend to do is, after I tack all the squares down, is I'm going to go back and drop the feed dogs and put on my free motion foot and trace around the birds. And then in the border, I think I'm just going to do a vine leaf. I love this music fabric. It's just so pretty. You know, I love bird watching. I love bird watching. That's my favorite, one of my favorite happy hour things to do is bird watching. So this is Riley Blake Designs that I got from Fat Quarter Shop, and it's called Songbird Serenade. Yeah. And then got lots of binding to tack down. I am pleased that my Kathy Schmidt's blue pillow is, the stitching is all done on January, and so I'm ready for February. Other than that, I have on the agenda from Fat Quarter Shop also to create this 4-quarter 4-patch quilt. And I showed this to you before. I just am really excited about it. You know, it has such beautiful fabrics. I mean, these fabrics are just, I just love the colors. So that's the next top. And I think I already told you that. That's the next top I'm going to do. I do have a lot of dreams. I want to make some headway on Sue Spargo block of the month that I have. I have been enjoying at Pioneer Quilts, which is a bucket list shop here in the Portland area. They have a Woolly Wednesday group, and let me just say, going to a group to stitch, you maybe won't get a whole lot done because you're hanging out and talking, and but by going there, it reignites that passion for stitching. And so I love to go to the Woolly Wednesday at Pioneer Quilts, where I can just stitch and hang out and see what everybody else is working on and get encouraged. I'm really bummed that I'm not at Road to California, but there was just too much going on, and I got these grandkids that just are so exciting. I love being around those little boys, although there is that opportunity for them to share their viruses, so that also is somewhat of an issue. But it seemed like I was only one of 2 people on my plane that was wearing a mask. People are tired of them. I totally get. But when you have asthma and you get a cold, it just takes so dang long to get over it. Don't you know? It's like you don't want to, you don't want to even get the common cold because it just takes so long to get over it. But the only thing left is my sexy voice, which that might go on to summer. Who knows? I cannot even see the mountain. We had so many trees go down in the Portland area with this last storm, and there is nothing between my hill and Mount Hood. So when the wind decides to blow this way from Mount Hood, yeah, it's coming. But it's so peaceful outside. It's so peaceful. And there is no better place, is there, than to be in your little sewing or stitchy spot when it's quiet, when the world is quiet. It is amazing. Although I feel I have quite a lot of empathy for my younger son and daughter-in-law who are in their home with 2 little munchkins. Yeah, that's that's the decibel of noise must be great. I hope that I'll see some of you at the Quilters Affair, which is, as I've said before, is that week before the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show. And classes are filling up. I have 4 sit and stitch days, and I know that 3 of them have a lot of people in them. But the Tuesday one, which is always harder to fill at the beginning of the week, still has room if you want to come and just stitch and hang out, because it's a lot of fun just to have that relaxing time in Sisters. And Sisters is such a sweet town. If you're not familiar with it, it's a Western themed town. It doesn't even have a stoplight, although I'm sure that will be coming soon. So I hope I see some of you there and we get to hang out together. There's the shop, well, all the different shops in Sisters are adorable, but the quilt store, the stitching post, oh, so, and it also carries a lot of yarn for you knitters. It's an amazing, amazing shop. And his kitty corner to the Sisters Coffee Company, or Fika Coffee, which is a friend of mine owns, which is on the other side of town. And just a lot of things to see and do there. So I hope we see you there for that largest outdoor quilt show ever. Okay, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to keep on stitching and try to get this ready to hang up in my entryway, ready for the spring. You take care. Be safe. Be careful. Love you guys.